I'm Trina Morris, wildlife biologist with the Georgia Department of Natural Resources.
I'm Emily Farrell, a wildlife biologist with the Georgia Department of Natural Resources.
This video is an instructional video for volunteers and staff who are collecting bat calls for our Georgia DNR mobile acoustic route program. If you want more information about this program in general, you can visit our website.
So before you can begin your acoustic route, you'll have to pick up the equipment to do your survey. And you will do that by going to one of our drop-off locations and getting a case like this. And now I can show you what's inside. First, we have a survey in progress sign for your vehicle, a folder which contains data sheets and instructions, the Anabat Swift unit that's actually going to record the call, a microphone that will go onto your vehicle, batteries and a charging case for them, a charging cord for our speaker, and finally we have a speaker so that you can hear the bat calls.
Now that you have all your equipment, you have a few more things you need to do before you can run your route. First, you need to charge the batteries for the Anabat and charge the speaker. Next, you need to access the shared drive for volunteers to make sure that you pull off your driving directions and maps for your route and anything else you need. Next, you need to make sure that you've driven your route in the daytime before you drive it for collecting bat calls. Even if you've driven it in years past, it's a good idea to go out and drive it this year to make sure there haven't been any changes and you know how to navigate before it gets dark. Next, you want to check the weather. You want to make sure it's warm, not too windy, and not raining on the night you plan to do your route. And finally, you want to make sure you give yourself enough time to get to your route start location before sunset so that you have enough time to set up all your equipment in time to start your route.
So now to begin your equipment setup, you want to grab the microphone from your case and we're going to place it on the roof of the vehicle. Make sure that this is an area that's clear of debris and is pretty flat so your microphone will stay. You want to place it there, and then you want to depress this red plunger until the microphone is sturdy on the roof of the vehicle. Once that is done, you can give it a little tug and make sure that it's sturdy on there. And then we need to turn this microphone so it's facing straight up to get the bat calls. Now that I've done that, I'll take this cord and feed it through the window of my vehicle, making sure when I close this window that I don't completely shut it so that it's crushing the cord. I want to make sure I leave a little bit of a gap so the cord has room to feed into the vehicle. Next, you want to grab the survey in progress sign from your Anabat case and put that on your vehicle like so. You want to make sure this is in an area that's visible for people that are approaching from behind you. And if you have a newer model car, you may find that this does not stick to your car. If that happens, you can put it in the back window of your vehicle so it's still visible. Now you want to move to the inside of your vehicle and you want to grab the cord that you fed through the window for the microphone and grab your Anabat unit. Next, you want to pay attention to this cord. You'll see there's a silver arrow on the end of it, and this will align with the spot on your Anabat unit where you need to plug the cord in so the prongs are aligned correctly. Make sure when you do this that you have this black cable and you insert it directly into that spot. And once that's securely in there, you can tighten this silver ring. Make sure when you're doing so that you're only twisting the silver ring and not this black cable. You want to do this until this is snug against the Anabat unit, and then you're good to go. Time to install the batteries for our Anabat. You want to open up the case, and you want to take this black plastic mount, and you'll insert your 4 rechargeable batteries into it that you had already charged. Now that I have all 4 of these in, I want to take a look at these 2 prongs, and I want to align them to my Anabat unit right here. You want to be careful during this part because you're going to insert this with this metal bracket to hold this battery mount in place, and you just need to be gentle as you do that. You want to set it all the way in there until you hear this bracket click in that the batteries are held in place. And then the next step is going to be to actually turn on your Anabat unit. To do that, you want to hold down this gray button up here, that's the power button, until you see the screen light up. When you do this, you'll see that the unit says it's checking your SD card. That's normal. Now that we're ready to go, we want to make sure of a few things so our equipment is set up correctly. First, you want to make sure that the light over here is lit up on the bottommost series of lights. This is for the continuous recording mode so that we can record our transects. Next, you want to check over here in the bottom left corner, and you should either see the words waiting for GPS or transect now. If you see the words waiting for GPS, that means your unit is trying to acquire a GPS signal and you need to give it a few minutes to let it do so. If you see the words transect now, then the GPS signal has been acquired and you're ready to move forward to the next step. The next step is to plug in your speaker. So you want to take that out. And right here on the left of your Anabat unit, there's a little port where you can plug the speaker in. And then you need to power that on. Now that the speaker is on, you can use it to test your microphone and make sure that you have it set up correctly. Now that we've confirmed the settings on our Anabat unit are correct, we're ready to begin driving our route. So what we can do is close the unit. You want to be careful when you do this that you don't jostle the speaker and lose it from your plug-in, and then you want to make sure to set this in a secure place. While you're driving your route, keep an eye on the top of this Anabat unit for a red flashing light that's continuously flashing. If you see a red light that's coming intermittently on and off, it's usually associated with a call for a bat, and you should be able to hear that from your speaker, and that means the unit is functioning just normally. But if you see that light is flashing continuously while you're driving and not associated to bat calls, then there could be something going on, and you should open up your Anabat unit and look inside to see if you see any warning messages or anything that's changed on the screen, such as the GPS unit is no longer required and it's still waiting for that to attach. Now you want to grab the folder from your Anabat case, and this has a lot of important information and documents within it. On this left side, we have information on instructions for setting up the equipment and a waiver for DNR that you should sign if you haven't already. On this right side, we have data sheets. We have two different data sheets depending on the type of route that you're running, either an Anabat route or a Georgia DNR mobile route, so pick the sheet that's correct for you. The data sheets are very similar. For both of them, at the top, you want to fill out your personal information and then the survey site that you're running. You also want to complete the date and your Anabat unit number, which is the case that you picked up from your drop-off location. You want to fill out the survey start time once you begin your route, and then you want to fill out some weather information. You're able to require this from a weather app on your phone. And then we ask for sky code, wind code, and some moon information. And you can refer to the tables on the bottom here and pick the conditions that are right for you to fill in those codes. If while you're driving you have to make any prolonged stops or turn off of your route, we ask that you write in the comments about that so we know when we're processing the data where those issues were occurring. Once you've completed your data sheet, you'll want to make sure that you fill out a timesheet as well. You want to list on here your name and then the number of hours that you've committed to this volunteer project, either by dropping off and picking up the Anabat detector or by actually running your route in the evening. Make sure you sign it at the bottom before we get it back at the end of the season.
When you begin your survey and begin driving your route, you want to make sure that you record the start time when you start driving. That's really important because after you turn on your Anabat and it's on the vehicle, you will record any bats that come over. So we want to make sure we know when you actually started driving so we only count those bat calls. Also, when you're driving, you want to make sure to maintain a constant speed of 20 miles an hour. You will have to stop sometimes for your routes, but try to make those stops quick and then move back up to 20 miles an hour as soon as you can. You may need to turn on your flashers when you're driving if you're in an area with more traffic, so people know that you're driving slow and can pass you. And finally, when you are listening to the bat calls during your route, you may hear static, either from road noise or potentially from insects later in the summer. That's normal and you don't need to worry about it. We can filter that out when we're processing the calls later.
Now that you have finished your route and completed your data sheet, it's time to pack up this Anabat unit and put everything away properly. The first thing that you want to do is turn off the Anabat unit. To do so, you want to hold down this gray power button until you see the powering off screen. Now that the unit is powered off, we can remove all of these attached pieces, such as the speaker. We can also remove the microphone. To do this, you want to make sure you're twisting this silver ring only until it is loose. Once that is loose, you can pull the black cable straight out. Just remember to not twist the black cable and only the silver ring. And then we want to go inside the detector and we want to remove these batteries. You want to be careful when you're doing this. You want to pull down on this tab and then pull out the battery mounting case. And that's it. You've completed your route. We thank you for the time that you took to collect this important data for us. Now you can return all of your equipment to the survey case that you were provided with. Make sure that you put in there your data sheets that are completely filled out, including your timesheet that you have signed. You can then return that to the drop-off location and let your group know that you've finished using the survey equipment so that someone else has a chance to use it. We thank you for putting in all of this effort to help Georgia DNR collect this important information, and we'll be using that to feed into state and national monitoring efforts for these species, and we hope to see you volunteering with Georgia DNR again. Thank you.